Yeah.
Yeah.
We're on, so.
Yeah.
Oh, the toolbar's up here. Here it is. Where it said go live.
Yeah.
And what's the second meeting? The big meeting was the first one.
Why is like this?
I guess, yeah.
Tomato.
Oh, yeah, yeah, right. Don't look at me like.
You just throw on tomatoes and all.
Started.
All right, Marcia.
No. Give me a couple more minutes.
Okay. I'm not gonna watch. Busy. Oh, man, looking for it.
I am, I'm reading a paper. It's not, it's, oh, I don't have time to. Are we live? On Zoom. Well.
There's trouble.
Double trouble.
Daryl?
Good, how you guys doing?
Good.
Good, how are you?
Yeah, I know.
Daryl. Daryl.
Oh, we're not first.
I'm Matt.
Matt, I think we are fairly close to one another. We have yes, I drive by.
Water around here. If that one doesn't suit you, but not this one. Which one rolls? And if it gets really heated, I'm gonna run down and hide it.
This one's good for me with your face.
This is a good meeting. We want to
You think it's all-
That's okay.
I needed. He responded last night. Because I was up putting my boots on, I said, yeah, I don't think anybody else is here.
Where was the fire the other night?
Last night, it was just out on Highway 7. We responded as mutual aid. You'll hear about it, but I'm not gonna say. But you'll hear about it.
Well, the lights looked good. Yeah, Matt looks ridiculous in that does.
You go.
Yeah. Great. I checked it earlier today. My knees do fit.
Yes.
So it's good.
You look very powerful.
We will find him a different case.
Oh, no, that's perfect. It's good.
Feels like you're in grade school.
Yeah.
It's nice to see Linda finally sitting in the mirror seat, though.
No, for long.
Not for
I'm
long.
gonna move down there.
Her head doesn't like.
Oh.
I don't pick up people in the audience down there that catch Brookville.
Actually, that works really well, because when people stand up there.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
then I
right
can
near the
see
mirror.
everybody better than seeing.
I like that on telephone book.
Well, yeah, well,
I did.
probably two of them.
I remember my first car, the driver's seat springs were broken and I had a booster seat underneath it because it was so big. Because when you sat, you went home down to the floor.
Oh, my God.
I think Jennifer had two under her butt and two under her feet. It's something like that.
I was still powerful.
You know, it's getting deep out here.
That's okay. It's all on Zoom anyway.
I know, we're sitting in the middle, I told Islands.
It follows you whoever talks, it picks you up. So it's split screen, so it catches up.
Yeah, but I hate to tell you about that, maybe.
That's all right.
He moved it, so we're this big, you guys are this big.
Hey, what's the wounded knee?
How you doing, guy?
How are you? Yeah,
That's good.
It's all the,
we'll get to that. Yeah.
I got an idea on
Mhm.
I will be vacating when that gets better.
I got a short crowd today.
Mhm.
I didn't mean short.
Yeah. Don't call me that.
I'm the tallest woman in my family, so I didn't feel short. And Charlie's the oldest city council member now.
Who?
You. You're the oldest. You're the senior of senior.
How late is time?
That's Charlie, right?
No. I'm back there, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
So by 1 year, more than Charlie? or-
Two.
First 2 years ago.
I'm good, my dear.
You know, Jackie.
Wait for Charlie to ask her age.
I told you it was gonna be good.
I wasn't asking her age. That's why it came out.
No, I'm not split crying hairs, so it's keeping me.
Okay. It's 4:00. I call this meeting to order on January 24th. Please stand. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, before we get started, I just wanted to introduce, we have Daryl Smith on council now, so we have 5 people on council, and then we have Matt Armstrong here as our new city recorder. So he's in the office trying to get all this stuff figured out, and we haven't ran him off yet.
Yeah.
We're keeping him entertained. So, minutes of January 10th, 2023 council meeting. Are there any corrections or additions?
None here? None.
Do I have a motion to accept minutes as presented? Feedback from Matt from YouTube, I think.
On the screens. Okay, so I turned off YouTube.
Okay, I muted it or just turned it off.
Well, it's showing what we've been doing.
I
up
know
until the
it's
meeting started.
still lagging. Is it running?
Oh, okay. All right, so I'll mute it.
So it's giving us feedback. It's running before we even got started.
Gotcha.
So, sorry.
I make a motion to accept the January 10, 2023 minutes.
All second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, they are approved. Kurt, I actually put you on the schedule. Do you have anything?
We can make a small report.
Okay,
Like I always do, I want to thank my volunteers. We had a donation from John Wolf for $200. I want to thank him for that. The 4th and 5th, I would like to take the QRU to the vintage snowmobile races for medical. We had a fire last night that Sumter was involved with mutual aid. And actually was engaged in the fire. Looking for volunteers that can work well with others. 1st and 3rd Tuesdays at 6:30. That's all I got.
any questions for Kurt? Thank you, sir. Okay, new business, we need to schedule the employee evaluation. That'll be for Tim and Jeff. Any day work in particular? Or anybody, or does it?
Next Monday and Tuesday are out for me, but other than that, I can schedule around. Do you have a rough date that you're thinking of, Linda?
Well,
You want to try to do it till the 14th?
before the 14th.
February 14th is next council meeting.
Yeah, we'll do it before then. So, how about? What about February 1st or 2nd?
I can do either of those days.
Okay.
When be-
can it be?
I could do any time other than this Friday and the 1st and the 2nd.
Oh, okay, well, okay, be that way, let's see, I'm going that week. How about the 3rd on a Friday,
I can do that.
Marcia?
It's Dennis, but I can move that. You're getting
What'd you
used
say,
to it.
Harold?
Marcia has a conflict,
No, I'll change it.
okay, so we'll do it February 3rd at 9:30. Okay,
I'm going to get the forms if it's okay with council. Some of them were repetitive
yeah,
and have them redone, so we get rid of some of that.
so you'll fix the forms
Yeah.
and we'll let Jeff and Tim know.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, the next thing on the agenda, Marcia can excuse herself. Okay, we've been talking about getting a new old city truck, we used one. I talked to Rob Gaslin today, and he says we do have it in the budget, as long as we don't try to buy a backhoe. He said that would have to be in the budget for next year. So, and what you have here is, we have one vehicle here that has 42,000 miles on it. And then I went out and we had to go out and get bids from other dealers. I got 3 from GM, and we only got 3 from Legacy Ford. And basically, anything that's within our budget, like for $20,000 or 24, has 100,000 miles on it, which we don't want to get just another old rig to, you know. And Chevy, the best they could do was give us one with 44,000 miles, which is the same as this Ford that's available. And it was 27,000. So 14 on the Ford.
That's what I was going to ask.
Wasn't it 14, Charlie? Marcia? Is that 15?
Yeah, I'm trying to get her to go 13.
Okay, well, anyway, this one that you have, that's 42,300, they're asking 14,000 for it. And it has 42,000 miles. It is 4-wheel drive. It's actually in really good shape. So it's actually the better deal, which is why we had to go out and get other bids from the dealerships, is to compare them. And the comparison with this, with the mileage, is a good deal for the city. It's a gas vehicle. Yeah. Yeah, we got all the gas. Half tons, 4x4s.
I've got some people I can talk to. Would the city be opposed to a truck being donated to the city if it was a good truck?
It was a good truck.
Well, I used to work for the state, so
Okay.
we make a few phone calls and you never know, they might have an extra truck that we're having to want to get rid of.
Is that something that we could, that you could come up with maybe in next week or so?
Well, I can find out the
Okay,
information.
find out.
Yeah,
Okay,
because they always have a lot of surplus stuff they're wanting
Right,
to get rid of
yeah.
and stuff. And they would rather donate it than sell it,
Okay.
so
but I think,
let me make some phone calls.
Sure. well, yeah, because like I say, I mean, this isn't a have to, but the truck we have right now is gonna die. It's eventually, we're not gonna get rid of that truck, but that truck that we have now is very unreliable.
Well, and the one thing about state vehicles, they have a good maintenance
Yeah,
record.
okay, okay, so we'll have you check. So, Charlie,
Well, I'm saying if those.
what do you think? What's the date?
Well, are we going to, replace or are we adding to the fleet?
We're adding to.
So if we went ahead and bought this one or one of these,
Mhm.
and then also see if Gerald could get one donated to replace them on the tank. Because this is a pretty good deal. This
Yeah,
this deal here don't come by.
No.
well, I mean, the state's not known for moving at an expedient rate, so that might take a little bit of time anyway, so.
Well, that would be that, because, like I said, the one we have now is, it's not reliable enough. I don't want the guys driving it to the town,
Baker.
to Baker. I mean, it's just, it's, yeah, it's wore out, and so we really do need
But I hate to throw this opportunity away
Right,
that price.
on a maybe. To where if we do this one, because we're adding to the fleet. So if we add this one to the fleet, and then if we can get another one
We can-
donated to us,
we can
you
scrap the
know,
other one.
and then the other one can go away.
Yeah, that would be an idea.
that's a good idea.
Okay. So, do I have a motion to go forward and buy this Ford truck?
I make the motion that we buy the Ford truck for 42,000, with 42,300 miles on it. And no more than $14,000.
I second the motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. We will be putting some restrictions on the guys on driving this new truck, newer truck. Kurt, could you tell Marcia to come in? The reason we excuse Marcia is that this is their truck that they were selling. Right? He had to excuse himself. Paige said he could not be in the same room.
Yeah, well, you have history in that truck too, so you know what it is.
Right, yeah,
You know how much
You
trouble
can always
people
yell at
had
her.
if she was selling you the lemon.
yeah.
We're not making lemonade then, right?
They were saying, get back if you son to them.
Oh, yeah, that's the bad part, like selling to your relatives, you know what I want to do.
So, okay, so then we will move on to museum contract. The museum is contract that we have. It's actually a memorandum of understanding between the city, the Sumter Valley Museum, and the Baker County Library, who leases part of the building. This contract has expired. We need to do another one. The issue is, we need to get a financial from the museum.
Yeah, I know Tony has been under the weather and been busy, but it's been a good 6-8 months since we've had a financial. And at this time, we don't even know where the bank is, what bank she's banking with. So I'd like to have a few of those cleared up and also a copy of the 501c and who is on the board. So when we catch up with her, we have to get that squared away before we renew the contract or the memorandum of understanding. But we do not want it to impede the museum or the library in any way. We just have to get the paperwork done on that so that it reflects what's current.
So, and I have talked to, one of the board members and have asked him to try to get the financial thing resolved. I told him I'd give him a certain time to do it, otherwise the city's gonna have to step in and put a little pressure on getting it resolved. So I will check back with him again this week and, see if he's made any progress.
Do you think we'll just table that one for?
Yeah, I'm gonna table this
Till February.
until February. We have to have it resolved. The other thing on here is the water grant bid opening date. I just wanted to give everybody an update. The contracts for bids for the construction are gonna go out by the 31st for our water tower construction. And then they will have 3 weeks to submit their bids, the contractors. On February 28th, it will close at 2 p.m., which happens to be a council meeting. So we will, on that council meeting, actually open the seal bids and review them. Technically, we have to pick the lowest bid, but what we do, we will review them, then they're all packaged up. They go to HECO Engineering, they will review all the bids and make sure they have included everything in their bid before we will go forward. So that is coming, it's coming up fast. We're going to starting construction. The other thing I had on here, just to keep you guys updated, on the 6th, the CIS put out a grant. It's a small grant, but it came out for security cameras. And we have missed out on this several years. So I went in the next day and submitted a grant request. So we got awarded, I think it was $350 to put to get some security cameras. We have some cameras in here to put on the outside of this building, and I'd like to look at something maybe for the shop. Some kind of recording or something with the camera.
Yeah, we have to look and see, because like it says, there's no internet over there. So it's got to get from there to here, and I don't know how that works.
Well, we can use a recording.
Seeing on the shop side, you could, because if activities on the outside or on the inside of the shop, but outside would be just as well. Something comes up missing or tampered with, we can always go back and look at the recording and find out the date and the time.
Yeah.
So you think it's three cameras,
You want to price them?
Well, you need one at the back of the shop, you need one on. Actually, you should have one at the back of the shop, one on
south.
that's the back of the shop, that's the south end. Then for the north end, one on the entrance would be the one that faces your house. That'd be the south, and then one on the west side, and then you probably should put one on the east.
No, the one facing me would be the east side, the one face.
Oh,
We need four
shop
ca-
goes
we need
one-
four
four
cameras.
guys. Yeah, because that's the way that, but it still would take four, one on at least one on each side.
One on each side.
You could put a booster. I don't know the distance from
Too far away.
here. Is it too far? Okay.
Okay, well, we need to look on that, go price some cameras and just see, but we do have the money at least available to now, and it's a reimbursement grant. It's reimbursement, so when we spend the money, we just turn them in and all the pay us.
Couple of game cameras.
I have some old systems that we replaced, and
Okay,
upgraded, that I could donate, and we could pay somebody to install them.
oh, that would be great,
Okay.
yeah.
Would that require the internet though?
And not to record anything,
Just
but
to
to be able to
record.
have remote viewing of it, you would.
Okay, but if something came up missing, we could just go and look the recording and then.
Yeah, we wanna put the recording device in a cage that's locked so
Mhm.
that they couldn't take that with
Okay,
them.
okay.
Yeah,
We appreciate that.
yeah.
Thank you.
Those are hardwired, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Because
Yeah. Thank you.
we just get an oversized mailbox and put it inside the shop. So you put it in.
Okay. Then the other thing, I want to bring it, it's been a busy week for grant stuff, so I'm just bringing you all up to date. The wastewater grant we need to finish the design phase. We have to do a topographical and a survey. That's what it started with. But since we're going to be filing for a block grant, a large one, we now have to do we have to do a cultural survey, a wetland delineation, and make sure there's no artifacts in the ground if we're going to dig. So that has taken the grant, what was going to be a $20,000, it could be up to $30,000. This is something that Nick Ducote, our grant administrator, he won't know until Joe gets from Civil Engineering gets out there and they start working on it. So since our grant from Business Oregon was going to be a 50-50, $20,000, I suggest our better use of our money would not take the loan from Business Oregon and use our ARPA money. We were given the American Rescue Plan money in 2021, and we still have not earmarked it for anything.
That is to be spent by
2026.
No.
We have to commit the funds by 2024, we have to spend it by 2026. So this would cover us if we have to go up to $30,000 if we have any cultural problems.
What do you see coming down the road that we could use that ARPA fund besides this? So it saves us from having to borrow money by using money that is free.
Yeah,
Good
it
option.
saves us, because
How much is the ARPA money?
it's 45,000. It's not enough to help with the water. I mean, it's just kind of that,
It's good, but it's not good enough.
yeah, it's good, but not good enough. It's not good enough to carry us for the wastewater other than getting this.
The only thing that I would say though is if we're gonna do that, I think that the full $45,000 should be set aside to get this done, just in case something happens and because otherwise if it costs another $5, so it cost you 30 and that's what you scheduled for, and it costs another 5, the city's got to come up with that because you can't go back to Business Oregon.
So, yeah, we could just
So I
just
think it
tag
should be,
it all.
tag it all for that until that is done,
Okay,
and then we can move on from there.
okay.
Well, generally, everything costs 10 or 12, 15% more than what they said it's gonna be.
That's why it jumped up to 30,000.
Well, like I said, once they get here and they start looking, because I don't believe the side of the mountain is a wetland issue.
Well, I know, but this is just something, if we
Well,
break
thank-
land, if we dig up any land, we have to
Well, I
go
don't,
through this.
yeah.
So if we earmark the full 45,000, comes in at 32,
Mhm.
the balance can also be
Use or something.
Nothing else.
reallocated to something else, so it would be a safer bet to do a one-time allocation and be covered.
So do I have a motion to allocate this money to the wastewater project?
I'm gonna make a motion to allocate the ARPA funds to the wastewater grant application.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, I will let Nick know that's the way we're going. And then that means in April, we'll actually go in and actually allocate it. Okay, Oregon Mayors Association, this came up. It's $71 for me to sign up for this Oregon Mayors Association, which then I can go to their meetings and stuff. I mean,
There's Linda's on top of the meeting. She does a lot of Zoom meetings, and I'd like to see her be able to participate in the mayor's meetings and some of the others. It's great information and also a good networking because she gets to talk to people that know how to, do the grants and know people who can help us with a lot of stuff. And it's good to get our face out there. And we are hosting the mayor's conference
here in July.
July
I mean,
20th.
July 20th at the community center, so it's beneficial to start getting Sumter noticed for free money and a lot of benefits.
A lot of these guys, they participate in a lot of stuff and they're better known to these different organizations that have grants and stuff. And I think that's what's helping them get them over us. And we need to get on that wagon.
And a lot of them are Zoom meetings anymore too. And then there is the one in Nissa.
Yeah.
And they don't like you to go to.
Okay.
Now is Locke, this is on the subject, but off the subject, is Locke doing their ordeal where they teach
We're doing training.
for new counselors?
Well, it's actually, yeah, that's the essentials, yeah. Mhm. Yeah, they're still doing it, and they also have training. I've already talked to them, so that Matt's gonna have a password, and go in and get classes from them also. So, some of them are free, some of them are a minimal charge.
So I make the motion, to pay the $71 so that Linda can belong to the Oregon Mayor's Association.
I second the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No, abstaining. Okay, old business, we didn't have any, but something came up today. We've been talking about getting locks, the key code locks, so we can track who comes in and out, we don't have to track keys. I was down at Gasoline's and they have a Bluetooth keypad for all their employees to come in. And we had previously looked at some that were like $240. Well, these that Rob has that are working the same way, he showed me how they work for $70 each. And he's using them on his accounting firm, so I assume that he feels pretty secure that, you know, they're good.
So how many would we be getting for all the doors in the city? So
Well, I was thinking the front door, the
office.
office, and I'd like to put one between the fire department and the door here too. This way we don't have to worry about keys, and then we know who's coming and going all the time, which would be usually Matt and I and Marcia. But, it just seems like a little safer way. Then
And we can change them out. We can.
we get, if somebody
every couple
leaves,
months.
yeah, or somebody leaves, we take them out, somebody comes, we add them in. So I'd like to research this more and maybe go forward and at least buy one and try it. I don't know, what do you guys think?
Let's start out with just the main door here and see how it works,
Okay,
and go from there.
yeah, I'd like to at least try it out and see if y'all guys are agreeable.
Is it cheaper to buy several versus
It
just buy
doesn't-
one?
it
Or
doesn't
this is
show.
just one
Yeah, this is just one.
for the 119?
Well, it's $70.
Well, the thing is though.
Oh, 70.
Go
Oh,
second page.
second page. Oh,
Matthew printed out all of them, but the second page is the one that Rob has. You can put 240 codes in it.
does it log who
What
comes
does it say? That
in?
one says that, must be the, no, his is on the first page.
Yeah, that was the
Second one is no log.
Yeah, the one on the bottom is the log one.
Okay.
And
Oh,
it's $63. So,
Biometric.
Oh, it's not this one?
That's pretty high tech.
no, it's next, it's the one next.
Beyond
Yeah. So,
well, this is the one that Rob has suggested numerous times in meetings that we check into it and get it.
Is that the third one?
yeah, the third one at the bottom.
The thing is though, is
I,
I think you ought to buy all three of them, because it says right here, we get free returns.
yeah, but once you take them out of the box, start hooking them up.
No, you buy three, you put one on the door, see how it works, then you put the other three to work, and you can send them back.
Well, we can order them at any time, but I think my priority would be to have it on the office store because that's where all of our files are. I'd like to start there. I mean, if they wanna come in and take a chair. That's
Yeah, you can have a chair.
One of the things that I found with the biometrics is they are not very accurate. For one of my companies, we had a biometric time clock. And if you've got greasy residue or anything like that on, they do not they tend to break down the screen. So I like the fact that it's got the biometric, but it also has the keypad. So if somebody cannot get their biometric to read,
Yeah,
you've got that second option.
and that's what he's using basically the keypad on his, because he was working it today for me. So. Which way do you guys wanna go? 1,
So
3?
you're happy with that one then, Sheriff?
There is, the only concern I have is I do not see a key override for the one on the bottom. And if your battery dies, which they can go quite fast, or they can seize up, you would not have access. I prefer, the ones I've used at past employment have all had a key for an override.
Okay.
That'd be like the one on the third, second page. So.
Well, we want a
Well, but that
log.
has no log.
I guess
We have to have a log.
We have to
That's the
see
whole
the
point.
log to see who comes in and out. So that any of these have a key override.
And my other question is, I can't read the picture, but you definitely want the deadbolt bypass on the back. I'm assuming the second one has a deadbolt bypass, it's just I can't see it on the picture. The backside.
Well, why don't I will look at these pictures closer. And we'll read them and make sure they have a key.
Yeah, that would be the only thing you would want to make sure that you have that key in case if the battery fails,
Okay.
so that you do have access.
Key. Okay.
Just don't keep the keys locked in the office.
Really? Okay, we'll look at these a little closer because we just printed them off this afternoon. And we will make a decision at the next meeting. This thing is on table.
Like Matt had a comment. That was trying to.
Oh,
So those are just 4 out of about 50
that's what I
models.
mean, let's go.
So I did a cross section of the highest at 100, not the highest, but 120 down to.
So
60.
we'll look at them tomorrow again and see, so. So this will go to the next meeting.
So the thing is, though, is you need to make a note that we want entry with key,
That's what I did, need key entry.
and you want,
Yeah, I made the note,
you log
yeah, I made the note. Okay, now we're going to council comment, and I'm gonna just start. Our favorite subject, flea markets. We've had numerous calls about flea markets. Vendors are wanting to sign up, they want to know what we're gonna have. So I think we're at a point where we need to decide if the city is going to host their flea markets again, like we did last year. And then we'll have to go through and figure out who's going to do what. But we need to at least need to be able to tell people if we're gonna have a flea market or not.
flea market, we're gonna leave the fees the same this year.
I would suggest so, because we
And
raised
then
pretty good.
we're gonna just do Memorial and Labor. We're not
That's
gonna do the
that's
fourth.
what I'm asking.
I agree with that one.
The flea markets, the 4th of July is just, we lose money, and the city not necessarily is gonna make a lot of money at flea markets. It benefits the city in a whole. I mean, I support doing Labor Day and Memorial Day because it helps the businesses of the town, and that's the purpose of it. Not necessarily just being a money maker for the city, because we even break even, it still made money for the whole.
Jane has a question.
Yes,
We talked about this at our volunteers meeting,
okay.
and John couldn't be here for today's meeting.
Mhm.
So we were gonna see if we could be on the agenda for the flea market discussion at the next
Okay.
city council meeting.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm just opening because we've had so many calls, so we have to decide if we're gonna do it. And then we'll have more meetings in regards to who's
Right.
gonna be responsible for what.
I think basically the volunteers wanted to let you guys know that whatever the decision is about Fourth, the volunteers are willing to support it like they did last year. Again, if that needs to happen.
Because I think we might structure it just a little different, but that's something we need to get all the paperwork, but and have a meeting, you know, we don't even have to do a workshop if it requires it, so we can get it all figured out.
The thing is though, is.
Is there public access to the amounts that the city loses or, you know? some kind of
There is, I
P&L to that?
can get it for you from last year.
Be very interesting to see one.
Yeah, I mean, it's very minimal as far as what we make on it, because especially like Memorial Day, because of the garbage and the porta potties. I mean, in the past, all the businesses have helped towards the porta potties to kind of offset. Because like I say, the flea markets basically help the city, businesses and stuff. It's not, we aren't making a lot of money, I think we have the dust abate. So I will get those for you, I have last year's,
And you have the ones from the year before that
Yeah.
has the fourth in it for you too.
yeah.
Well, yeah, the extra man hours too. We do have to pay some people to do that. The dust abatement is huge. That takes a big chunk.
So I think today, the main question is, are we going to do the flea markets in 2 of them or 3 of them?
I would just as soon do like last year, Labor Day and Memorial Day, and the volunteers can, if they so choose to do July 4th.
Okay. Do I have a motion to move forward on that?
I make the motion that city council proceed with the Memorial Day and 4th of July, or Memorial Day and Labor Day flea market.
Do you have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, so we will do Memorial Day and Labor Day so we can let the vendors know. We still have a contract that we'll send out that sends all money and all vendor forms through the city. We are going to make sure it still stays that way. So everything will come to us like it did last year. Okay, Marcia, do you have anything?
Just a reminder, because Matt is the new city recorder, he has to kind of keep on track. We have a lot of groups. So if you guys know of any group, we would like you to come in and fill out a piece of paper stating what times and days you want to use the community center, so we don't double book. Because we do get other people that want to come in and rent it. The railroad comes in and uses it too. So it's just a short piece of paper, and we can start marking on the calendar on what to do with that. And oh, it's a touchy subject, Airbnbs in Sumter. I would like to have a public meeting to get the public, the citizens' response and ideas on what they want to see as far as Airbnbs in Sumter. In the different zones. It's starting to become an issue in a lot of towns. Some are denying them, some are putting conditional uses, yearly conditional uses on them. And so before we start addressing that into our zoning, it would be nice to see what the residents want in their neighborhoods and to get some ideas before we start moving forward on it. We can, if it's something the residents like or council agrees to, and I have talked to Paige, our city attorney, about this, we can put a temporary moratorium on them, like for 6 months until we get the zoning done and figure it out. But again, that we'd like to have some input from everybody too on it. You kind of thought about having having a public meeting right before the council. There's going to be a big overlap, so maybe schedule it so it's like at 6 o'clock at night, so working people can come to it, and maybe limit it to an hour or something so people can have their comments. But I'd like to get that scheduled because we're up to like 15 now, so we need to get it figured out on what we're going to do with them.
So you want to do it in the evening?
I would prefer, because of, there's a lot of people still working in this town, and that gives them.
Okay. Do you have a day in mind? Anything that fits with your committee meeting?
So, well, I'm waiting for John to get back. I'm going to schedule a committee meeting here on the zoning, but I'd like to perhaps have I don't know, Al, you think it'd be good to have this special meeting before committee meeting, or us do our committee meeting and then do a special?
If we did it outside of our committee meeting or before, it gives everybody else input, so all of a sudden we're rethinking the zoning. We don't
Yeah.
have the Airbnb problem to deal with. It's already dealt with.
Yeah.
That's me.
Your committee meetings are gonna be in the morning though, would they?
We're gonna change them up a little bit, yeah, and have them like in the mornings at 9 or 10, yeah, just instead of the 4 o'clock hour.
How long of a posting time do we need to post for a public?
Couple days.
Couple days, I know we love here.
I mean, our zoning meetings are open to the public, but
Yes.
nobody shows.
Yeah, more than welcome to come to those too. And we'll listen to all the input, because this, this is beneficial for everybody. Wow, we got the antique races coming up too, don't we? And then the poker run. I'd like to have it sometime between the 6th and the 10th, somewhere in that week. You're gonna be gone, aren't you, Linda?
Not until I could do it 6 or 7.
Tuesday, 7. Does that sound good to you? Like a Tuesday, at 6 at night on the 7th? Do the public meeting and then we can have a zoning meeting.
The fire department will be at 6:30 that night.
That's right, they will.
Do it on Monday, the 6th, thank you.
What is Monday the 6th? I don't have a problem with Monday at 6, yeah, we can do that. So we'll schedule a public meeting, to discuss Airbnbs, on, February 6th at 6 o'clock, and we'll get that posted. This book will be huge, because I mean, some towns are saying no, some are putting conditional uses. We just need to come in and decide what we want to do in residential. Yeah.
Okay, so it'll be February 6th at 6 PM. It'll be a public meeting. So, mention to everybody, because again, input, this is your chance to make some input. Oh, yeah. No.
I knew there was one other thing, but I can't think of it, so I'm good.
Daryl, do you have anything?
Nope.
Nothing. Carolyn?
So because of what it costs for us to put down dust abatement, we have found out that the state now allows us to change our speed limit signs.
Yes.
Is that something that we want to do?
No. Yes.
Because we can, I don't want to make it where snowmobiles, ATVs, and vehicles are all different. But it would help with the dust situation a lot if we just made the town, you can't do anything with the highway, I understand, but with the rest of the town, make it like 15 miles an hour. Because that would help a lot.
And we can't.
And then, once that's done, and naturally we'll have to post it. But once it gets posted then at least law enforcement they have something to go off of. Because as of right now, everything's 20 miles an hour, and
You can't, it's 25, resident is 25. I don't care if the signs say 20, it is 25.
It's 25.
And if you post 15, they'll go 20, so that's a good compromise.
So we can change it now.
we can't.
We can change it. I thought it was.
Yeah, that's what Marcia, she showed me.
Yeah,
that came through
Yeah, it came
on the
through,
last meeting.
yeah, January 1st, that small communities can go in and change their own speed limits now. I'll get that article so we know the exact procedure.
No, we just have to get the signs.
Because that would help a lot with dust abatement. And then I wanted to also bring to councilors' attention more than anybody, our automatic garage door opener for the big shop, one of them went out, and the guys, they almost took the door out with the grader when they were going through it. Then it stayed down 1.5 feet shorter than it was supposed to, and they just barely hit the rubber on the bottom. But it didn't hurt the door. But anyways, Nehi came out, they're the ones that installed it. They said that the circuit board is fried. I guess it's 7 years old. I was talking to Kurt about it. They said they were put in 2013. Kurt says the shop went down in 2015.
That's what I thought, yeah.
So they got about 7 years on these door openers. The new door opener we got, this door opener has the manual chain. The other ones did not. So we can get through that system, manually if we have to. Right now, the way it was, if the power went out, you have to be able to get on the inside of the shop and try to open that big door. So that cost us, ballpark figure, about $1,600 for that door opener. We use that door a lot during the summer and during the winter. The man door is actually on the shed roof side. So during the snow season, this door is absolutely worthless. Because if you were to put in a gable end roof over that door, it'd have to be strong enough to take that hammer from the snow falling 8 feet above. I suggest that we all think about it. It don't have to be decided today. But I think we need to put a man door on the gable end side. And I think that it should be able to be done within, I say like $1,000, $1,500, easy. And then the guys can start using the man door to go in the shop to do what they need to do, then open the big door. Because right now they just pull up to the big door, open it halfway, walk in, do what they need to do, and then close the door.
Just creating more wear and tear with the
So-
content.
Yeah, so it has more wear and tear than the other.
Just put that out for bid, Cheryl.
I wouldn't think so, because it's not above money, because it's not over 10 grand.
Well, we need to see.
You can talk to Paige about it.
Yeah, get an estimate of what it would cost.
Yeah, because they gotta look at it, because like I said, the walls are finished walls on the inside, so you'd have to know where the wiring is. You'd have to put in jacks and we gotta do the jacks, the header, the door, which I would get a pre-frame door, and then you gotta do the concrete block on the outside for a landing, and you gotta do one on the inside for that, because the stem wall is so hot. Just like we had to do before to get it to pass inspection.
How many man doors we got now, 2?
Yeah, one man door would be on south side, and then one on the north side.
Take one of those and put it in the other spot and board it up.
Then you'd have to board and insulate the other side.
Geez, where's David Gold?
It cost you more money to move that door than it would to buy a $200 door and put a new door in.
Yeah, since you got metal siding on the outside and stuff still in.
You get an approximate estimate of what it costs?
I can.
Yeah, Kurt, said it to be a fire safe door, metal door.
Shouldn't have to be in there. The existing doors, I don't believe are fire rated doors.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think they're just a Stanley
Yeah.
metal door,
Yeah.
man door.
So that makes the cost cheaper.
So can you kind of check with an estimate to make sure where we are in price?
Okay.
We don't contact me.
Al had a question.
Michelle?
Well, so kind of a comment, because when I first went on the zoning committee, I contacted the state at that time, this meeting, to find out what it would take to have a unified speed limit, so everything's going distance. And was told the unified speed limit is 25. But now I read in the paper and saw that it's now, the cities can now set the speed limit, not the state.
Yeah.
And that makes it enforceable.
And you say you got paperwork on it?
Yes.
Anything else, Charlie?
Not,
Well,
not,
I don't see
not that I
before,
know.
if we said 20,
Jerry,
it
what do
wasn't
you think?
enforceable.
Okay, public comment?
I got one.
Okay.
Public and fire chief side. If
Stand
Daryl
up,
can get,
stand up, please.
oh, it's a goofy one. If Daryl can get some vehicles donated, 13 districts in Baker County that most of them all have a chief's vehicle that the chief has, that's got
Oh, I see.
emergency
Right.
equipment in it, firefighting equipment for a quick response from home instead of turning out to a the station and gearing up, I can just go right to the incident and then give a size up to my guys on the radio. I need QRU, I need 2 structure rigs, I need, jaws of life.
Okay. So you want another vehicle, is that what you're saying? A chief's vehicle, okay. Put that on Kurt's wish.
Most departments do have a chief's vehicle.
Yes, it is.
And they're nothing special by any means.
Well, Okay.
Maybe your match would be nice.
Yeah, we're pushing it now. Jenny.
We just have our donation check from the fire department for the Santa photos.
Oh, okay.
We ended up with, I think, 24, but we bumped it up to $500.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much.
Any other public comment?
That's an issue, I like it.
Okay,
Go ahead.
one of you stand up.
I said, it's back to the 4th of July.
Yes.
I know I looked on the city's website and actually Larry stated you were gonna do the Memorial Day and Labor Day, but on the 4th of July, it's kind of a negative comment. And so if the volunteers want to pick that up, I was just asking if we can make sure that that's a positive comment, because last year it was so late in the game, it was very hard, difficult to get vendors for one. So I want to make sure that we can attract vendors. And then there was also a lot of negativity about it. So I just want to have the support of the city website.
See, and I think,
Wasn't it marked as tentative?
The 4th of July is,
Yeah.
again, that's negative from a vendor standpoint. I'm a vendor as well myself. And you're planning now. So we want to make sure we're going to get in touch with those vendors. I just don't want anything out there that says that it isn't going to happen.
Well, the only thing else we can do is just not list it until we know what's going on.
Well, I think we made the decision if they want to take it,
Volunteers have already decided they would take it if you
so
don't.
we could just take the tentative off.
Yeah.
I think was what he's saying,
Okay.
instead of.
And if you want to put contact
Nancy,
one of us, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Who?
Nancy Myers. Wasn't it?
I didn't.
I don't think she should run it, but
Well,
when you got.
at the meeting.
We'll get you a contact.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Visual, yeah.
Like everybody knows me here, Mike Manning. Anyway, what I want to bring up, I was informed yesterday that I live up right there on Fairview, West Fairview, that the city was no longer going to be following my road, or as they call an alley. You can Google, if you Google it, this is the Google map. It shows it being West Fairview, North Fairview, other Fairview is behind me, which is a dead end. My road goes all the way from Mill over to Parkinson. So it's a full through street. And I mean, the city's always plowed that. And last year I got my permit to head onto my garage facing that. So my house, the garage, everything is right on West Fairview. And I was told, well, you'll have to park out back. Well, there's no place for me to park, first of all. That's a fairly steep hill and it's a dead end. Another thing, I am having a chance to talk to Kurt too, but also if that road's not there and there's any kind of fire up in there anywhere, you're not gonna get, like last night fire, we had 3 fire trucks there. You're not gonna get 3 fire trucks up that hill and down that dead end road and be able to get in and out of there. Also, where West Fairview does go all the way through, there's full access to get trucks, equipment, personnel, whatever through there. So my point is, the city's always done a good job of grading. Hopefully I can keep that road open.
The city doesn't have 20-foot wide roads, and I saw that on Google Maps, and Google Maps is not 100% correct, so we have to go by county maps. And West Fairview is a 20-foot alley, it is not a street. You only have the Fairview up at the top. Google does make mistakes, they've done it in several places around town
But
too.
I mean,
So we don't, and we just don't, it's an alley, it's not a road, it's 20 foot
It's
wide.
an easement.
Don't have 20 foot wide roads in the city of Sumter, they're all 60s or.
I realize that, but they have for years plowed that and never had an issue that I know of. You know, I've only been there the last 2 years. You know, they run the big, that's just that old military truck through yesterday. He came through with the grader, pushed it all back. You know, and when they're plowing it, when they first start, if they're just gonna use that old truck, they just start. He was just making one single pass down the middle. Well, it just makes a big berm, which makes it hard. And there's room to get started wider and allow for more snow.
But yeah, it's still only 20 feet. I think the problem I have with it, and I know the situation, they had done it a little bit in the past. How you face your house is not the city's. I mean, if you want to face the house for the view towards the
It's
alley,
only
that, yeah, that's
Been there for
fine.
60 years, so.
Yeah, that's fine, but there's a lot of alleys in town and we do not plow them.
Yeah,
The alley is the responsibility of whoever lives on that street. And I know Al lives on an alley, and he plows his out, because his garage is in the back too. And you just plow to your house, don't you?
just passed.
You just pass
But
the
Michael's,
house.
John, Patterson has done it the last couple times of decent snow, but I got a snow blower, I go out and blow it, and Mark right beside me, between he and I, but there's a house right behind me, that my concern is that that house would ever get on fire. I want us to be able to get there because it would take my house, I'm convinced.
Oh, the little white one, yeah.
You know, so I plow up to that house behind me.
Yeah, I pulled this up too and saw that it's on there, but you have to go by the county maps. Yeah, Google's good, but they show some on some of the properties that the
Yeah, I
road goes
mean,
right
if
through
it's-
the house.
You know, it's been plowed for years, why all of a sudden now decide they don't want to?
Do you know when Carol put that fence up, Mike?
Which fence is that, I'm
The
sorry?
big board fence, it's before your place, after you come off the mill.
Oh, right on the corner?
Right,
I have no idea.
because I don't recall it ever being there before.
That's a pretty old looking fence. I mean,
Well, it's old wood.
I mean, there's a big pine tree that's
Because right
on
now, that's-
on this roadside of that fence too.
See, and that's what I was telling the guys today when.
But I mean, there's only that little section right there. Really is there's very few short little sections where it's not wide, because the rest of it,
Right.
there's all kinds of room to plow. Once you get past my place, there's that big drainage ditch. There's all the room in the world to plow all the snow
Yeah,
and
like
water
I
out
said,
there.
from your driveway, actually, which would be your driveway in that building that Skip has, from there out, it's pretty wide.
Yeah.
It's that little narrow section,
Yeah,
because
there's-
not only do we have the way the ground is sloped, so they're digging into the bank, but also we have those phone poles in the way. And then that fence, and I didn't, know- I don't remember when the fence from that,
Yeah,
because
no,
they gotta have a place for snow to go.
but
and that's-
between that fence and Skips, you know, back to their yards there's plenty of
Right.
room there to push snow if they needed to also.
Right.
And so, I mean,
You
like I
do
said,
have a big section next to your house too, that's your property, is that correct? And that were, who put their trailer there? Was that yours or Greg's
No.
trailer? There's a empty.
You know,
I can't say
where
spot.
Bachelor has his dozer?
The Greg, yeah.
Yeah, Greg Bachelor,
Yeah,
and then over towards.
yeah, my property stops just the side of the garage I put in, or
so what's your legal address? Is it on?
201 West Fairview.
It's on Fairview.
West Fairview.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Shouldn't
West
be
Fairview.
It shouldn't be West Fairview. We only have one Fairview in town. And it's going by Google Maps, which is a problem because it doesn't line up with county. The county map.
Yeah, and you know, they show that, the county shows that
Is
other
it-
Fairview behind me is being that
I
full
construct-
access easement too with.
It's a road. Yeah, it's actually a road.
But it's never been developed, and you know, he told me yesterday that had been taken off of the road system or whatever, but the county said, no, it's not, that's still.
It's still, it's an unconstructed road and until we get, more grants, then we go in and construct them and it does go all the way to the right too and then stops
Yeah.
at that house over
But for
there.
now, and like I said,
We don't have a West Fairview in town though. On the
Well,
county
I
map.
can-
Yeah, it's just a 20-foot alley. All of our roads
Foot
are
alley.
60 or 80s.
mm,
I don't know how it got on there with Google, which is,
It's
Yeah, that's,
up to
you know,
what-
so-
it's comes back to the old same ordeal. I say.
You know, that's how I purchased the house, how the house, you know, needed and everything.
And it's like, and
Google.
if the grader's too big to plow it and they can't get through it with that. That only left the backhoe, the deuce and a half and the yellow truck. They plowed it with that. Tim's plowed it with the old grader, which has the exact same size blade as the new grader. So I'm not sure where the issue lies as far as where the snow gets to come and go. I talked to Tim this morning about it and I told Tim, I said, instead of plowing down the hill, I said, come back through from up above and take that block of snow and take it out towards Mill Street and plow it out that way. He does park back there. It's up to you because typically, and there ain't no law about it, as far as I know, typically we don't plow now. And I just talked to Al tonight about it. He's happy with what he's doing. He's the only other one that I know that he uses access to his house from an alley.
No, there's another one up there that the alley was vacated through the whole length, but it comes off of Austin and stops right in front of the
So
house.
it's vacated.
And no, that alley goes straight to the house and they take care of their own alley because that is their access to their property. So what, you know, and I understand the position, they've done it before in the past, whoever, you know, where the paperwork was that said they were gonna do an alley. But if we start doing one alley so that somebody can get to their property more convenient than going to the other side, where do we stop with all the alleys? I mean.
Well, like I said, the big thing is Tim says he's gonna keep plowing this year.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, if the
when he
following
came
year,
through, yesterday, that's the first time I know of the plow coming through there. Before, it's always just the old military truck just makes it pass through.
right. And
Which
and
I can deal
I
with.
went through there today with my loader and I'm 12 feet wide. I didn't have blade down, but it's real tight.
Yeah.
On that narrow section, your side, like I
Yeah,
said,
everything
your
else
side's
is
open.
fine, yeah.
So I'm not sure how council wants to tackle this one. But right now, because that is a 20-foot street or 20-foot alley. So if that's a 20-foot alley, in the spring, we need pins. Because anything that's inside them pins on our side needs to be taken out. So we
I
have,
think those two old sheds, Skips, and then the other guy right directly across from me, got them old sheds that are, I already know how they're still standing, but
yeah.
I think those two are on the alley property.
See, and then that's what I said before too, because when I looked at it today, when I went through there, because I'm pretty good size. And when I went through there, I'm going, we have power poles in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
But without being able to push snow, because the grader don't push snow, it's got to roll it one way or the other.
Right.
The deuce and a half can push snow, but I think to solve the problem, I think if we push towards Mill Street and dump the snow out up there, it's a shorter push. We're not taking all this snow here and trying to collect it and push it out through all the way down to Parkinson's. That's quite a ways to go. So, but it's up to it's like I said, it's a council ordeal, however you people want to handle it. But we have plowed it forever. And we haven't had an issue with it until now. And we ain't even got snow. We're still 3 to 4 feet short on snow that we should have on the ground right now.
Yeah.
Kurt,
And remember, he is a firefighter and
Yes.
an EMS that needs access to get out of his driveway.
Well, if he had a piece of equipment, he could come down Fairview like most people do and plow his driveway. He could go into Fairview and still plow out.
Now, have you been on that hill back behind me?
Yeah,
That's in the winter time, and like, you know, and with the fire, you know, any, like I said too, any kind of equipment, if there's a fire, any of those houses back there or trees catch on fire. There's no way you're gonna get trucks in and out of there. Well, you get one in and that'd be it. You'd never be able to get anything else going because down by Carol's house is the only closest hydrant.
so the deuce you have to use the deuce to go in there?
They can either use the juice or they can use the backhoe. It can be done. I'm not saying that it's not possible to do, and we don't make the people, the boys happy, but that's too bad.
so when does
And
this
that's
stop?
not-
Is this a forever deal? So are there people in town that have alleys that are using them for a more convenient access to their house? Do we start doing all the alleys? I mean, I understand the situation, but we also have to look at the rest of the people too. We do one, we gotta do them all.
So was all this property in place?
Yes.
So
No, well, Greg's was there before.
I mean, did we approve them with their setup of their house to come down and use that alleyway for access? We did the setbacks and stuff.
Well, you do all setbacks to the alley into the street. Yeah, it was according to, it was, well, we'd have to go look at Greg's to make sure if we did the front yard for Greg's to the alley, or we did the front yard of Greg's to Fairview. And if we did it to Fairview, then it is an alley. I think it's 15 feet in the front yard. I mean, I understand the dilemma, but
I think
I gotta treat, I gotta look at everybody as.
Right.
As of right now, even though we talked to the front of his house, he has no access from Fairview to his house. It is not set up.
It is not landlocked, but don't say that because you're implying that it is landlocked and the only way he can get to it is through an alley. It is incorrect. There is a city street in front
He
of
can
his
walk to it, he
property.
can't drive to it.
Well, we have to remedy that road with the next road grant is construct Fairview in front of that street. But it's not.
Minimum of 2 years from now. Right,
I mean, that's how I'm trying to include everybody in this circulation that has an alley and has trouble accessing.
Well, I'm just saying as of today, right now,
Okay, so how long do you want to do this?
his piece of property is not accessible from Fairview at the top. It's accessible through the bottom. Because he pulls into the bottom, he has room to park off the alley.
So you're
And
putting that burden on the city? Because
I'm-
somebody bought a piece of
I'm just
property?
saying that the city can't just throw you out in the cold.
Well, I
Because
realize,
if that's the case, then I'm like Baker, why do we plow it all?
well,
Baker don't plow none. Baker does nothing. Why do we plow it all? We would save us so much money. We'd have so much money, we could have a party. Because Baker does not plow their city street.
Oh, that's
At all.
here and have a party.
Well, that's what I'm doing.
so. We're gonna have to resolve this. So for right now, we need to look at this property probably.
In the spring.
In the spring, we need to look at fixing Fairview, make it accessible. And not leave you hanging for this winter. So we need to have the guys use the dukes down there,
Do whatever they gotta do to
Yeah.
plow, because I talked to Tim this
but we
morning,
need to look at it this spring about resolving it.
and Tim told me that he was gonna plow you out the rest of the winter. Cause we're almost done.
Yeah.
And he said, you know.
Well, I thought when they were working on the roads up above this summer, I asked him about down there, and he said they've already allocated, that money for this year was used. They've already put in the money for next year. He said if they remember, next year they put in for Fairview the next following year.
Well, they
We
get
have not put in for our road grant until June of this year,
of 2023.
of this year, so it has not even been.
Yeah,
We
well, that's,
put
I'm
in-
just going what they told me
We
last
put in
summer when
for
I asked.
one last year for starting this January, we did not get that grant, but we're going to resubmit with roads this June 1st is when we submit, so. So there is a road grant coming up,
Oh,
but we have not.
Okay, I'm,
Yeah.
what I'm
So, yeah, but
Yeah.
that's what it is. We did a road grant last year that we finished. We didn't get the next one, so you can sit down so you don't hurt your knee. And, we are gonna apply for another one. So there is going to be. another.
yeah, because it's
But
been-
yeah, I think we need to this spring really look
I
at
like
part
to
of
hopefully
the,
keep my road open because,
yeah.
I
So
said I am on fire.
we'll have them work on it this winter and then we'll look at it in spring and see what we can resolve it.
Yeah, because I want to be able to have access and be able to get in and out. And,
Yeah.
You know, like I said, the fire department, I put in literally hundreds of hours this summer,
Sure.
putting in studying and to be an EMR here for this town, so.
Yeah, no, we'll keep it plowed out this winter, but then we'll revisit this spring.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? Any other public comments? Do you guys have anything else?
I make the motion, we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Yeah, long one.
Yeah, I said, yeah. I know, yeah.
All we can't do is. We have to do it.
Yes.
Well, I
You'll see that. You'll see that on your.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you use?
Anyway.
Yeah, I will.
I'm not asking them.
You.
But that big- Or like I said,